Okay, so I thought I would make a video real quick and kind of share with you guys my stance on um, religion. I know it's going to be kind of a touchy subject, but I think we're all adults here and can handle a wide variety of viewpoints. So, if someone comments one way or the other, you guys just, you know, don't attack anybody for anything, no matter what they say. But so I put up the video of my kids singing at their um, vacation Bible school program, marking the end of vacation Bible school, and I got some comments, something about being a Christian and things like that. Well, I don't particularly consider myself to be a Christian, really. The church we go to sometimes is Community Baptist. It's a kind of a Southern Baptist church, and if you guys don't know, Southern Baptist is just I guess it's a little more conservative than regular, Baptist, and they only, they think that um, that only people who are baptized and saved can partake in the Lord's Supper, the crackers and wine, or the crackers and grape juice. But anyways, um, I do enjoy going. I enjoy the church. The preacher that preaches there is a real down to earth kind of funny guy. He talks about how it's just a good old country church, and if you don't like hillbillies, then you might as well not go. But at the same time, it's a fairly large-sized church. You guys saw in the video. It's not like a little rinky-dink building, but there's still like a country type feel to it. And he's pretty funny, and he's one of those that'll get up there and jump around and you know um, scream and yell once in a while to make points and things like that. And um, he's really good at writing sermons. He really is good at preaching, and I think he's been doing it there for like 40 years or something. But he's been there a long time, and he's good, and that's what makes it enjoyable to go. And whether you're a Christian or not, um, I think that people can get a lot out of going to church. Um, it's just you find a, I don't know about saying the word better, but you find a different type of person to associate with at church. You know, me personally, I wouldn't consider myself to be a believer necessarily, because I struggle with it hard. Um, on one hand, like, there's the feeling that you get when you go to church, and you want to interpret that feeling as there being a God and this kind of thing, and it is a nice thing to think that when you die you're not just done. But at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. There's the Christians who go by the New Testament and say the Old Testament is irrelevant because of the second covenant and all this stuff. But then at the same time, it says that God is the same now as he always was and always will be. So why would the Old Testament not be relevant? And I would think that if you were a true believer, that you would want to follow the word to the T. You would observe the Sabbath, and all of that sort of thing. And You know, there's a lot that can be said in all kinds of different categories, such as, you know, the Sabbath is actually supposed to be from Friday evening to Saturday morning and not Sunday, as a lot of people think. But then a lot of people think that people go to church on Sunday because they think that Sunday's the Sabbath, and that's not true. It's in the Bible that, you know, even Christ gathered people on Sunday to you know, to talk about, you know, the scriptures and all that stuff. And Sunday was kind of set aside in biblical, you know, readings as a day of, you know, worship or whatever. It wasn't necessarily the Sabbath, but it was a day of, you know, congregation or whatever. But anyways, there's a lot of topics like that that go back and forth. You know, there's people on both sides that argue this and argue that, and a lot of people say the Bible contradicts itself a billion times, and you know, I don't know that it actually technically contradicts itself, but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, and you know, a lot of stuff that was written in like 1100 AD, and I don't see how you could, you know, write about something, you know, 1200 years after the fact. And it's been translated so many times, and you know, there's words that, you know, had certain meaning in one language and there's no word in another language for that meaning. And I don't know, it's all kind of confusing to me. And you know, there's a lot of scientific discovery happening, you know, with the Neanderthal and primitive man, and you know, astrophysics. There's a lot going on, you know, in the way of, you know, the Big Bang and all that kind of thing. And I'm not real sure, you know, which I lean towards to believe in. It's kind of split down the middle. You know, you've got science on this side with very compelling evidence that you can, you know, that's the thing about science, is that you can replicate and test and experiment. You know, that's what makes something a fact in science, is that you can test it over and over and over again and it always works out the same. But then on the other side, there's religion, where, you know, no one wants to think that when you die it's all over, and basically you don't mean anything to the universe, so, you know, there's not really a point. But that very well, you know, I don't know. And really, my whole point in all this is, whether you're a Christian or not, people can get a lot out of going to church. You know, going to church makes you have basically a good feeling about humanity. And you know, most of the time the preacher at the church that I go to doesn't really, I mean, he talks about scripture and things like that, but a lot of the times he's just reiterating, you know, what's happening in today's society that goes against, you know, religion and the Bible and all that stuff, and how should people live their lives, you know. And basically the religious lifestyle to me seems like a good one, you know. Whether you believe in a god or whatever or not, living by those specific rules doesn't seem to me to be a bad thing, you know. Don't steal, don't kill. I mean, you know, what part of that is bad, you know? And as far as the kids go, the homeschool curriculum that we got is Christian based, and we do have them go to church to different things. We always kind of give them the option whether they want to or not, and a lot of times they will. Um, but that's the thing about it. I don't push them one way or the other. You know, um, sometimes I will, you know, make them do a church thing that they might not want to do, but I never tell them that they have to believe a certain way or else they'll be punished or anything like that, you know. And really, what harm could come of an environment that teaches children to be good? I mean, you know, what harm can come of it. Some people will say it causes people to be closed-minded and all this stuff, but really, I mean, what's the bad part about it? Why do we need to be open-minded towards everything, you know? Why does everything have to be acceptable in society now? It's like, if you come up with some perverted, like, weird, totally nonsensical thing, then you're expected to just accept that because it's just how someone is. And that's not really, I don't think that it should be like that. Some things just shouldn't be done in society, to have a good, cohesive environment for everyone to enjoy. But anyway, so I just wanted to put that out there that, I'm kind of split down the middle. My wife leans more towards believing that there is a God. She doesn't necessarily, go by everything that's in the Bible and believe all of it. And there's certain parts of it that I frankly just find a little far-fetched. Um, but I guess you're going to get that because the Bible wasn't written by God Himself. It was taken down by a man's hand. So there can be, and several different ones, several different authors. So and I just don't understand the people now. Only how many people do you know own a New Testament, a copy of the New Testament? Almost everyone. How many people do you know own a copy of the Old Testament? Or heck, there's even books left out of the Bible. There's like 30 of them or something like that. Enoch is one of them. There's, where, why is there not, even if it's 40,000 pages long, why is there not one book of all the religious, Christian-based teachings in one book? I don't understand why it has to be scattered to the winds. But I don't know. I mean, there are literally, I could probably come up with, within 30 minutes, 50 questions that would stump most religious people. I mean, there's too much. There's too much information. I mean, you've got scholars, that spend 40 years studying just one chapter of the Bible, and that's their life's work. So if it takes an intelligent scholar that long to nail down one chapter in depth, how is any one person, one individual, average, intelligent person, supposed to take in the entire collection? And I'm not just talking about the New Testament. I'm talking about the Old Testament, all the lost books, everything put together as a whole. How is any one person ever supposed to take in that much and really analyze and understand it? I just don't think it's possible, really. But I don't know, so this will probably open a little bit of a floodgate for discussion, and I hope it does. It's interesting to me. I personally have a desire to want to believe. It's just that there's the line again with religion and science, and there's tons of science over here that's actual, fact that can be proven and replicated and experimented and tried and same results gotten over and over again. And then there's the religious side that says, it's faith. You just have to believe it. There's no evidence, you just have to believe it. While that's a pretty weak argument, there's just something about it that just tries, I don't know. Maybe I'll figure it out one day. Maybe I won't.